Welcome to This Explainer. I'm absolutely thrilled to guide you through today's topic because, well, we've finally reached the grand finale of the screenwriting journey. We're going to take all those raw ideas you've been pouring onto the page and actually transform them into production-ready screenplays. So let's dive right in, because honestly, this is where the real magic of filmmaking happens.
Did you know that award-winning screenplays often go through 10, 20, or literally even more revisions before a camera ever starts rolling? It's completely true. I really want to shatter this intimidating illusion right out of the gate that great scripts are just born perfect on the very first try. They absolutely are not. Great scripts aren't born, they're meticulously built. So if you've been staring at a messy first draft and feeling a bit defeated, take a deep breath. You are exactly where you were supposed to be.
The absolute core mantra of professional filmmaking, and something you really need to internalize, is simply this: writing is rewriting. This is, without a doubt, the single biggest, most necessary mindset shift for any beginner. Because once you truly accept this, all that massive pressure you feel staring at a blank page just kind of melts away. Now, there's a really dangerous beginner trap out there. It's the assumption that if your first draft isn't flawless, well then, you just aren't a real writer. But the professional reality is entirely different. The first draft is simply the beginning. Your first draft is completely allowed to be messy. Actually, scratch that. It literally should be messy. That messiness completely validates the creative process. Imagine you're a sculptor. When you write that first draft, you're basically just going out to the quarry and hauling back a rough block of stone. That is the discovery phase. The rewrite, the careful, highly intentional carving process, that's where you actually reveal the beautiful statue hiding inside. You aren't starting over when you rewrite. You're just chiseling away everything that isn't the story.
Here's our roadmap for today. 1. The first draft myth. 2. The 5-step editing process. 3. Scene rewrite demonstration. 4. Common beginner mistakes. And 5. Preparing for pre-production.
Section 1. The first draft myth. A first draft is simply your initial capture stage. It's where you discover what you even want to say in the first place. I really want to reassure you here, when you move into the revision phase, you are not throwing away all your hard work. Not at all. You're taking those wild ideas you successfully captured on the page and shaping them into a story that is clearer, stronger, and way more emotionally engaging for your audience. Section 2. The 5-step editing process, a professional workflow. Listen, professionals don't just guess when they rewrite. They use a highly structured workflow. Notice the logic we're using here. We start with the massive, foundational elements, like the story itself, and then we funnel our way down to the tiny details. This logical flow is exactly what saves you from wasting countless hours of your time. So, step 1. Review the story. Take a step back and ask yourself, does this story actually make sense? Is the main goal clear? Are the stakes meaningful? I literally cannot emphasize this enough. You must fix these foundational story problems before you ever start worrying about formatting or grammar. If your ending doesn't feel earned, having perfect spelling isn't going to magically save your film. Step 2 is all about strengthening your characters. Take a hard, honest look at your script. Does every single major character serve a clear purpose to the larger story? Do they have a believable motivation? If you have a character who is just kind of hanging around, taking up space without contributing to the narrative, you have to be ruthless. Remove them entirely, or maybe combine them with someone else. All right, moving on to step 3. Improve the scenes. You want to read every single scene in a vacuum and ask yourself, does it introduce new information? Does it increase conflict? Does it actively change the story? If you answer no to these, I have some tough news for you. If a scene doesn't move the story forward, it just needs to be cut. Yes, no matter how much you love it. Step 4 is polishing the dialogue, and the ultimate test here is super simple. Read it out loud. Seriously, if it sounds clunky when you speak it in your living room, it is for sure going to sound clunky on screen. Remember, in real life, people rarely say exactly what they're thinking. Subtext is absolutely key here. Try to strip away the unnecessary words and replace verbal explanations with physical actions whenever you possibly can. And finally, step 5. Check the details. Now is the time to get out your magnifying glass. You're hunting for continuity errors, spelling mistakes, formatting issues, timeline inconsistencies, or, those embarrassing situations where a character's name accidentally changes halfway through the script. Meticulously checking these small technical details makes a massive professional difference when you hand this script to a producer. Section 3, Seeing Rewrite Demonstration. Seeing is believing. Let's look at an example. Consider a clunky first draft. Allie walks into the room and just bluntly explains his feelings. Everyone agrees. Honestly, kind of boring. Now compare that to a revised scene. Allie enters quietly. He picks up a faded photo. His grandfather gently takes it back and says, "Some memories are carried, not recorded." Do you notice how much more weight that carries? So why is that revised scene vastly more cinematic? Well, because it totally removes the heavy-handed explanation and replaces it with physical action, the sharing of the photograph. But most importantly, it creates beautiful subtext and trusts the audience to understand what's happening without being spoon-fed the emotion. That right there is the absolute power of a great rewrite. Section 4. Common beginner mistakes. What to avoid. Please do not fall into the trap of becoming so attached to every written line that you polish the spelling while completely ignoring a gaping plot hole. I'm going to reiterate the golden rule of rewriting here. Fix the story structure first, then strengthen the characters, then rewrite the scenes, and only then do you polish the dialogue and check the spelling. You know the saying, fresh eyes often notice problems that the writer can no longer see. It's so true. When you've stared at a script for months on end, tunnel vision sets in. So I highly, highly encourage you to seek out feedback. And when you get it, do not treat it as a personal criticism. Treat it as a vital, critical, professional tool for your own improvement. Before you ever stamp the word finished on a screenplay, you need to pass this ultimate rewrite checklist. Ask yourself, are the scenes purposeful? Are the characters meaningful? Is the conflict actually growing? Is the dialogue natural? And is the ending deeply satisfying? If you can confidently check all these off, you are in incredible shape. Section 5. Preparing for pre-production. The next step. Well, congratulations. You have officially completed the screenwriting fundamentals. Your polished screenplay is no longer just a story. It is now the organized, highly technical blueprints that the director, the actors, and the entire crew are going to use to plan the film's production. Your hard work has laid the rock-solid foundation for everything that follows. To wrap things up, remember that your first draft simply captured the raw stone. The ideas are all right there, just waiting. The only question now is, are you ready to roll up your sleeves, use the 5-step process we talked about today, and carve out the masterpiece hiding inside it? I know you are. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. Now get out there and start rewriting.